when things don't go our way, we make them go our way by finding the blessing in the curse. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of the Budo Brothers podcast. Kyle, let's have some fun.
Installment, does that mean we are getting installed into their earlobes?
That's the plan.
All right, I like it. So today I think we are going to talk about having fun. Now, do you think you have fun in your life? Like, how do you know if you're having fun?
Well,
like, are you missing out? Or more people having more fun than you? Like, how do you know if you're having the maximum amount of fun possible?
Well, I just look at how we started tonight. And that's actually why we wanted to talk about it. Because you were on your phone and...
Scrolling for days.
Apple has this new feature that will photo recognition, see where your face is, and put together a little roll. So Kyle's phone put together this wicked reel.
And it was like from 2000 and...
From the very beginning, man, when we first met.
Yes. And it just went through all of these photos. It was pretty actually incredible. I was like, check out what Apple did for us. It's a nice little feature.
But what I took away from that was like, dude, we have fun.
Yes,
like,
we do.
We have a lot of fun.
And why would you say that we are able to have fun? Like, what about our situation creates the ability to have fun? Because technically we're working while we're doing all of it.
But that's the most beautiful part.
Okay.
Is that we've found that which gives us joy, but also makes us grow, challenges us, and brings about a reality that is fun for us, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we get to go travel. We get to meet amazing martial artists. We get to help people. We get to train in all kinds of different styles. Before Budo Brothers, we were one-trick ponies. Now we've got to taste all these different styles and systems. Man, we're having fun. How could you not having fun when you're on purpose, doing what you love with your best friend?
But I've also seen you in in most situations, you're having fun. Like, one of the videos is you dancing, singing "I'm in love with the cocoa" and shooting.
I'm in love with the cocoa.
How come you're able to smile more than most people?
Well, I do love coconuts. Honestly, man, it's like training. You gotta train it. You gotta practice the art. We've talked about it. Episode 3 or 4. It was the art of Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes,
right.
Episode 12.
Not taking life so seriously, which is really hard, especially now. Like, look, and I think this is a timely episode. I think a lot of people have forgot that life is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have fun. And if you're not having fun in life, you should probably change what you're doing because, life should be enjoyable.
Yeah. I think we have it all wrong. Life is easy. Like, to wake up and live and then die is pretty easy. We have all of our basic needs covered. Like, living life is easy.
Yeah.
Our brain and all of these things that we install onto ourselves and the stories that we tell and the parameters and disappointments we put, that's what makes it hard.
Yeah.
Expectation, not meeting it, like a whole bunch of psychological things that we put on ourselves. That's what makes it hard. Mm-hmm. And I know one thing that is kind of a superpower for us that allows us to have fun is that when we get into a place, like I'm just going to take when we go to a bar or a nightclub or an event, we go and shred the dance floor.
Yeah.
And like, we don't know if we're good dancers, but we don't care.
And we're having fun.
Because that's what we do and we have fun. Like, people could be looking at us and staring at us or judging us. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. I think a lot of people who have a difficult time letting loose and just forgetting about criticisms, critiques, complaints about what it is that they're doing, sometimes sacrifice having a great night out. Also, to fear of missing out. Like, how I remember when cell phones got huge and you could figure out what everybody was doing, you'd always be on your cell phone to the party, like, oh man, this other party sounds like so much better. Then you'd like leave the place you were at to go to this other place and then try to go, and you're chasing this thing instead of just having a good time.
It's right in front of you.
Yes.
But I also look at, when we do go out, we also set an intention. We're like, we're gonna have let's go out and have a good night. And it could be, the worst things can happen to us, but we still are like, all right, let's roll with it. And and let's make the best of it. Let's have fun. When things don't go our way, we make them go our way by finding the blessing in the curse,
And just looking at them as part of the experience. Like, how many planes have we missed in our lifetime? And a lot of the time we're missing them because we're just having fun in the bar or
filming
or doing something like.
And time doesn't exist though. Like when even on these podcasts, time just flies. So when we get in that zone,
and
paging passengers,
totally. And we were in Vietnam, and we went out the night before, and we went hard. And the next day, we slept in. We missed the plane. We were traveling on a Vietnamese flight, so it was like this low budget plane taking us from one city to the other. So we show up, and we just missed the plane. We had to pay to go sleep in a hotel next to the airport. And then we had to pay for a cab to come pick us up, take us back to the airport. But while we were in the airport, we met an awesome person, Rocio, who we spent all of our time with when we were in the it was Hoi An. Yeah, when we traveled to Hoi An. And we would have never had that experience if we caught the flight.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just have to think I'm at where I'm at, and this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Love it.
Yeah.
Powerful words.
And do you feel like you have a better time when it's all planned or organized, or when it's more spontaneous?
Me, spontaneous, man. That's just my nature. I love going into the unknown. I don't like structure. I don't like. We suck at it. We suck at planning. We suck at. We're really good at just flowing and going and having fun and addressing what appears, not anticipate. Just like in fighting, just like in martial arts. When you anticipate a punch and you're like, he's gonna throw a ow, boom, and you get hit because you weren't responding. You were anticipating and acting on what you think is gonna happen instead of acting on what is happening. And I feel like martial arts trains that. It trains us to be present and respond to what is happening in that very moment. And to me, that is a secret to having fun, is converging on the moment.
Speaking of martial arts and fun, that's one of the biggest indicators whether I know whether it's time to move on to the next space or to stay in my current dojo or academy or school. Martial arts it shouldn't be too serious unless you're training to be it should be serious. You should take it, but it's supposed to be an activity that you enjoy going to.
Yes.
Now, if you start waking up and you're like, oh my God, I have to go to this thing. And if it's just because you don't want to work out, or if you don't, but if you're starting to just to not feel like you want to be there anymore, try to change it up and test out new things, because I did that with other martial arts and it just re-sparked the fire of learning again. I got so into it.
Becoming a beginner again, putting on that white belt.
And, I don't want to take away from the people who are dedicating themselves and trying to accomplish a certain skill or a parameter level. But I do know that if you're starting to fall out of love with martial arts, try something new. Try a different martial art. Yeah.
I agree. I also see the value in pushing through, because sometimes we all go through funks, right?
Yeah.
You go through you go through a lazy spell. I don't want to go. I don't want to train tonight. I'm exhausted. I've been doing. We all have 1,000 excuses of why we shouldn't work out, why we shouldn't train, why we shouldn't stretch, why we shouldn't meditate, why not enough time. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But pushing through those, and sometimes when you want to quit, and you push through. I've done that multiple times in my progression where it's I don't know, I'm kind of getting bored. And then all of a sudden, you push through that, and then you're like, oh man, okay, nah. It kind of ebbs and flows sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a personal thing. That's what happens for me too.
Yeah.
And then but I've also had the thought of, wow, am I glad I didn't quit? I was actually thinking about like moving on or trying something else. And then like, whoa, but if I did that, I wouldn't be like, this is amazing. And so sometimes you got to, and sometimes you learn things that you might not be very interested in, like, for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be doing some aspect that you don't really enjoy. Some people love trapping, some people like grappling, some people hate long kicking, it's all like, everybody has their own, like,
Totally.
My favorite is FMA. My favorite is boxing. I love hitting the bag. Everybody has a favorite, What's your favorite?
Right now, my favorite is boxing.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying boxing. And it's a new hobby or interest of mine.
Yeah.
Like before you're like, okay, 6 punches. I got this. 6 punches. I got it. Next. But
it's like never ending.
When you start really breaking it down, and you're adding in the footwork, you're adding in the feints, slips, you're adding in like how to set things up, how to punch properly. Like it's a complex thing. And I really like it right now because it's easy to do solo as well too.
Right.
Like, you could shadow box, you could hit the bag, you could work your footwork a lot. It's a great cardiovascular workout. Yeah. So I really like the boxing currently.
Nice.
And for the mindset stuff, Tai Chi and Qigong.
Yeah.
Like that's been a game changer for me.
So good.
What about you?
Yeah. If I had to go to like what's my favorite thing to do in martial arts, I love doing like repetitive flow drill, hanbo spins and flow work and coordination drills. Like I find it really meditative, but it's not really like yes, it's a martial arts, but for me, it's more of a meditation. Somebody might look at that like, what? Of course, it's not going to work in the ring. It's not designed. It's flow drills. It helps develop awareness, coordination, mobility. Man, it's changed my game. Like the more I work on it, the easier being human is. Like I'm more flexible. I can respond quicker. Sometimes I surprise myself. You open up a cupboard and all of a sudden you caught 3 glasses and prevented them from breaking. Those kind of instantaneous reflexes, that comes from training. Not everybody can do those kind of things. And that's what I love about training is that it does hone you. It does develop and allow that level of communication inside your body where you can move without thinking.
Yeah.
Big into boxing now as well. Obviously, we've kind of been on the same journey, really.
Yeah,
we've been kind of going through the different, like, and I'm in love with it too. Like, totally loving it. And you're right, especially now with solo training, like not a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms are open.
No.
It's kind of hard to social distance grapple.
Yeah. And there are a few that are open, but it's not as common of an activity in current times, right?
Which is tough.
Yeah.
But what I am absolutely loving on the solo side of things is Japanese taikokyu, stretching with the staff.
Yes.
And this dude, Sensei Jay Creasy, he does it unreal. I'm absolutely loving it. I've been doing it every Friday. And my body's totally opening up.
And he's been talking about it so much that we are going to be dropping a digital seminar.
Oh, dude, we have to.
I haven't really done it myself as much yet, but
telling you,
Eric has doubled down on this thing, full chips in, like
the
line
community,
in the sand.
I'm telling you, I'm not joking. We're going to do a live stream. We're going to test this because we want to make content and courses that people want. And what I liked about the concept of potentially doing the Japanese taikokyu stretching, like an 8-week or 9-week program, 10-week program, with follow every morning, part of your morning routine that you can start opening up your body. Man, and he's such an incredible teacher.
Yeah.
I really feel like this is going to be valuable. When you talk about mobility, doesn't matter what martial arts you're in, the importance of taking care of your body and stretching out your muscles and working on, it's so important. And it literally doesn't matter what style you're in. I can see myself get better the more flexible I get.
So important for your body. Like
Big
mobility
time.
is so important for your body. So going back to good times,
having fun.
How do you, like, what is the difference? Because, like, let's say going to a restaurant 30 times, and the night we went out with Michelle Watterson, and
Yes.
Josh and
Yes.
their daughter
And Clay and Bev.
and Clay and Bev. That was one of the best nights at a restaurant I've ever had.
Totally.
So what ingredients were in that night versus like just a regular night at a restaurant?
The people you surround yourself with. If you're around a bunch of people where just something sparks inside you, where everybody is on that same level, where it's hard to describe. Like, you're asking me to describe the indescribable. It's like it's just a resonance, and everybody's lifting everybody up. You're having how can you not have it's infectious.
Yeah.
But the best part is like you're having so much fun that there is no, like, time doesn't exist. You're nowhere else but here. You're not checking your phone. You're connected. You're having a great conversation. You're laughing your asses off. You're connecting. You're like, that is such a beautiful part of being human, when you can share experiences with people that you enjoy being around, that make you better, that can help you become who you are. And I really feel like the people that you surround yourself with the most matters. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And a good time, I think you hit on a good point, is about kind of resonating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing's worse than being out with like 4 people and one of them's like, my feet hurt.
Wet blanket.
But it's almost impossible to force a good time, because you could set up all the things needed for it and the chemistry just not be there.
Yeah.
A good time is so random because everybody has to resonate and be in line at the same moment in time, feeling the same way. And that's why sometimes concerts or events are so good, because they build towards that. And that's the DJ's job, or the event coordinator, is to get everybody on the same vibration and the same energy
level
to have a great time and to elevate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that the people who always seem like they're having a good time, or the people that I've met in my life where it's like, man, that guy's always having fun, they have ability to enter the room and fill it with a certain energy, a certain vibration.
Yeah, that's just like a vibe, and you can feel it.
Yeah, like, in fact, people say that guy's got a good vibe.
It's magnetic.
Yeah, he's exactly words like that. And they have an ability to control their space and time energetically. And it's so amazing that humans are so connected in so many different levels, because you can't consciously plan that out.
Yeah. And how could you scientifically measure that?
Yeah.
Like, how could you, like, we're trying to measure your good vibes, Kyle. When you walk in a room, people say you emit a certain like, we're trying to, you can't measure it.
No.
But every human can feel it. So what is that?
And I think that's just like how some people that you just know, like, we're never going to get along. You just have a repulsion to that person. And then other people you're just attracted to.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Somebody walks into the room, you're just like,
yeah.
Whoa. I don't know. But it's like a sixth sense, and everybody feels that. I haven't talked to a person that doesn't have the ability to get some type of reading in those types of things.
And as you were saying that, you were talking about, when someone walks into a room and they give off that vibe. I couldn't help but think, like, that person has worked on themselves. Like Sifu Singh said, your mission in life is to work on yourself so you can go be of service to the world.
Right.
I love that. That was a great mission.
Yes.
And I feel like people that do emit those vibes, I'll guarantee they spend hours reading books and working on themselves.
So I have a question then. So what about those people who are having too much of a good time? The guys who just partying too much, or just like they overdo it?
Just like, you can die from drinking too much water.
But then how do you explain that working on yourself in that situation? Like, did they overwork on themselves? Or did they?
I'll guarantee that guy isn't giving off those good vibes.
That's true.
He's giving off the vibes where, like, dude, this guy is off it.
Yeah.
So he's he's lost it.
So it's a fine line then.
It is
You do need to read the energy of a room though.
100%.
You know, you can't be out with a bunch of nerds and be like, yeah, let's do this. Whiskey's for everybody.
But you know what? Sometimes, man, I love. Have you ever just hung out with someone where just serendipitous and like, this is a really, like, it could be a 80-year-old grandma on the bus, and you end up having like,
Definitely.
you would never, but you end up connecting and just having like an amazing conversation.
But again, that's back to reading. Like you have to read what's in front of you. Like you're not gonna like do that with a grandma, but then if you go to a Vegas pool party, you're not going to act the same way that you would with the grandma on the bus. I hope.
Debatable. Speaking of Vegas pool parties, do you think that's ever going to happen again?
Oh my gosh. I'm scared that we're going to go forward in time and there'll be a younger person looking me in the eye and be like, oh man, I went to this virtual concert. It was so much fun.
I went to this Zoom concert. Oh, off the chain.
And I look at this younger person and I'm like, back in my day, we used to go to concerts and everybody used to hang out in like the room and like jump up together and dance. And,
shoulder room only.
Yeah. And then they'll like, when we went to that Bone Thugs concert, we couldn't move. We couldn't move.
And we didn't think anything of it. And that's what's so crazy. It's like you see images on TV of like an old concert. You're like, man, is that ever going to happen again? Like,
and proof that humans did not care about germs is a Vegas pool party.
Oh my!
We don't go in the water at those things.
No.
Like we stand on the outside and like if you like
cabana squat.
I've seen people have bloody noses in the water. Somebody puked in the water and instead of like telling anybody, just splashed it around. Like I've seen people making new children in the water. Like it's
a super spreader.
Yeah. It's so like imagine that was a year ago.
It was. That's no. Yeah.
Like we didn't go to a pool party a year ago, but like the ability to do that was like a year ago.
Not even exactly.
Yeah. And now like you can't even look at a person too hard without being at risk.
I know. It's so crazy. Yeah. But you still have to figure out how to have fun when times change, you know? And we've both been able to do it.
So how have you been? Well, it's kind of a tough rigged question for us because this is what we consider fun. Like, we're very isolated in that sense. The only thing that we've had to change is the ability to go out to bars or like events or those types of things were fun. I'm traveling, like meeting new people, traveling.
Yeah, it's a big part.
How did we fill that void though? I think we designed products.
We just had fun. We're like, okay, well, if we can't have fun traveling and meeting awesome people and filming wicked martial artists, well, then let's have fun making products and working on our business and actually putting the systems in place that's going to allow us to run a real company.
That truly though is one of my favorite feelings and the ways I have fun is working on something and then seeing the end result. It just makes like if you put effort into something and then it comes to life or pays off, it pays out, man, it just brings a huge smile to your heart and you just feel so good. Especially if you do it in a fashion where you like if you care a lot about what you're doing. Like there's some things you just work on, you're just like, oh man, when's this thing done? I don't really care. Let me put it out. But when you're working on something that you're excited for other people to see, like for me, one of the most recent things was our website. Yeah. Tweaking that, making sure that looks good. And then you're just like, okay, like I hope they like it. Like I hope, oh man, I hope they like it. And you're like, like you're not necessarily judging yourself, but you know that once you press open, it no longer is yours. It now belongs to the public. And you're just like, I hope that they engage it and they like it. Yeah. That to me is like exciting and fun and really enjoyable. But I definitely miss human connection and going out to a place where you can meet a whole bunch of random people and talk and hang out.
The Martial Arts Super Show.
Yeah. I don't know if you can fill that void.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And as much as it's crazy right now, I do think with time, you know, things are going to get back to normal and everybody's going to forget about it. And I really do.
But what's normal though? Like, what's normal? Like, you think that it's going to go 100% back the way it came from?
In 5 years, yeah. Yeah, I think we're like people people have short memories, man.
Yeah, it's true.
People don't like they things happen and then they go, oh yeah, remember that? You know, people have short memories, and just if the society changes and what we call normal, aka before COVID, that was what was considered normal, and the things that we took for granted, standing in a concert, you know, being in line, not walking around having to breathe your own breath through a mask. You know, that was a normal way of life. And isn't it funny how when that's all gone, you're like, I wish I enjoyed it more. You know, and what did that for me the most was when I traveled to Denmark, and it was like COVID didn't even happen.
Right.
It was like being time warped into another planet. You know, there was kids playing, holding hands. You know, it was just like nothing happened. It was so like, whoa, this is a taste of AKA normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think in time, it'll get back to normal. And it you know what? This new normal, guess what? There's always going to be a new normal.
Definitely.
That's life. It changes. Every day's new.
Pre-internet.
Yeah.
Versus now.
New normal.
Yeah. Internet made things the new normal.
Exactly.
Like the world is not the same now as it was then. And there's going to be things that people have to look out for and are more conscious with. I just hope that a generation of people who are very influential right now don't get tarnished by the times we're in. You know what I mean? Like, if you're at an age where you're super impressionable and you don't really understand how the world works, and you dealing with like the coronavirus and like adults are telling you to like put this mask on and like that's got to do something to your psyche about germs and about connection and about like that's built in, right? Mm-hmm. That's something that's going to be built in, and you are probably going to see it later in life how it represents itself.
Right.
And I don't know, like I don't think a year is enough time to make that happen, but like if it lasts for 5, that's a significant chunk of time.
Totally. I think, you know, they'll get a vaccine will come out and away we go, right?
Yeah, totally.
But
the thing I like about it, though, is that we have not stopped having fun since the coronavirus.
The whole time.
Yeah. And it changed.
Of course.
Like, what we did changed, but, like, we started kicking it more. We started talking more. We started just laughing and building products. We got ultra creative. Like,
worked out more. Had more time to work on ourselves. Man, there were so many blessings.
And having fun goes back to something we said in an early podcast. It almost is a choice.
Yeah.
You know deep down inside what you need to do in any situation in order to have fun or to be in a good mood or light. Whether you choose to do that or put yourself in a place where you can do that, that's completely up to you.
100%. That's a good one. I feel like we're getting close to a Budo Brothers challenge.
Budo Brothers challenge. If you can find yourself in a situation where it's consistently bringing you down, like you say you go, you hang out with a group of friends that's consistently bringing you down. I want you to compare that to a situation where you're always having a good time and try to replace the one that's bringing you down with another one like the one that's bringing you up.
Love it. Nice. Optimization.
Engineering
happiness. Awesome. Well, I think that's a great place to leave it. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Any feedback, any suggestions, how we can serve you better, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, info@budobrothers.com. Check us out on all the social channels, Facebook, Insta, YouTube.
Make sure you join our vault. There's a ton of video content that you get all for free just by entering your email. And then we will be hitting you up with some of our best and most up-to-date promotions and all of the good things.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until then, we will see you all next week. Signing off.